this video, we're talking about ways to get back on track with your weight loss journey. I've been in your shoes. I have been on the weight loss journey for over 15 years now. And once I lost the weight, I kept it off for over 15 years. It's one thing to lose the weight, and then another is to keep the weight off. I know how frustrating it can be at the very beginning. Those are the hardest days when you are just at the beginning of your weight loss journey. You lose 5 pounds, and then you slip off. You have a terrible weekend. You eat all kinds of foods that you tried not to for the past couple of weeks, and then the weight comes back on. So what do? First thing I want to suggest to you is do not step on the scale. Do not use your scale at all, especially not often, like every day or every other day, or even every week, because that's really not something that is good for our mentality at that moment. Because you need to think about this. You're losing the weight, you're on this long journey. It's not going to be a sprint, it's a marathon. But it's a good thing to make it a longer process, because that is much more sustainable, and it's lasting, and it's your lifestyle change. And that way you'll know this is forever, and this is something that you can just stay with. This is the main thing that I like to think about, eating foods that I really shouldn't be eating, but I still eat them sometimes. I don't really feel guilty about it, and I don't want to feel deprived, so I don't really think of that type of food. For example, some kind of chocolate cake, or some vanilla cake with icing, or something else that you like. If you feel that you can have something, you want it even more. So if you're on a holiday or on some kind of a family get together, or even a vacation, you really want to try something that is in front of you if you really want it. For example, if that's the piece of cake, yes, I would eat the cake that's in front of me if I really like it, if it's really worth me eating this. So I'm not really feeling deprived that way. So I'm not just using that outlet to eat as much as I can, because in those 2 hours I can have anything, and then after that I will not eat that for a month. That's not the way to think about food like that. So if you are out on a holiday family get together or vacation or some kind of dinner with friends, and if you really want to eat some food that and a dessert that you really like, I would suggest you eat that, because that's how you can stay on track much easier than if you are feeling deprived and you're completely going cold turkey and you don't want to touch that food. You're thinking it's going to be forever, but really it won't, because that's when the slip-ups happen more often than you can think. Find a diet that works for you, that is not going to challenge you to that point that you are finding yourself slipping off every other day, or you are on a diet one week and the next week you are not. So find a diet, find the approach that works for you, that is not so strict and not so strange that you can stick with it. So I personally follow Mediterranean diet / low carb diet. It is diet rich in olive oils, avocados, fresh fruits, vegetables. It also includes seafood, some dairy, although limited dairy, mainly Greek yogurts and feta cheese. It includes whole grains, 100% whole grains. It's not limiting at all. I grew up with that diet, so it was just natural to get back to it. I really didn't have any weight issues while living in South Central Europe. It's when I moved to North America that my diet changed, and then I had to really examine what I was doing wrong and get back to. So really, the natural way was for me to get back to my Mediterranean roots. However, there are some other diets that I would recommend. For example, vegetarian diet is really great. It includes a lot of fruits and vegetables. It's a pro-plant diet, but also includes some animal products like eggs and dairy. Another really good one is flexitarian, which is pro-plant diet, but it gives you freedom of eating some meat maybe 10 or 20% of the time. So really, I don't like to classify that I'm on any diet really. I choose whole foods, vegetables and fruits, and I like to cook my meals at home. I do eat meat. I eat limited dairy because it kind of bothers me. I also eat 100% whole grain breads and pastas. In that regard, I think if we choose a diet that gives us freedom, we can eat more and we can lose weight because those foods are nutrient dense foods, and with them we, like I said, we can eat more and still lose weight, and we don't feel deprived. We just feel like we're eating great foods, healthy foods, and it makes a difference. I'm not a big fan of all meat diets because I don't think those can be sustainable. I don't believe that you can do something like that a long term. But of course, if that works for you, it's something to consider, because the goal here is to choose something that we can choose, a type of diet that we can stick with and that works for us, that we're happy with, that we enjoy, and that way we can make it sustainable, and it's easier to get back on track that way. And what all these diets have in common is that they all limit or avoid completely processed foods, processed carbs, refined carbs, packaged foods, because if you do buy any of the packaged things, you have to really read the labels and make sure you're not getting all the added sugars. And when we say sugars, there are some really obvious ones like cakes, cookies, and ice cream, but also there are a lot of things with added sugar, like your pasta sauce, like your some kind of soup that you're buying in the grocery store, canned soup that has added sugar. Salad dressings that can be really bad, making your healthy salads very unhealthy because they have tons of added sugar and all kinds of other ingredients. So those are just the things that you have to be careful about. All these things that I just mentioned that you need to avoid are the common thread of all the diets that I mentioned as well. Make your goals realistic, because those goals that are achieved in a longer period of time are going to be much more sustainable. Next thing is be kind to yourself. So forgive yourself if you do slip up. Do not, shame yourself. Do not be extreme the next day. So let's say you have a very terrible weekend when you had everything that you actually tried to avoid for the past 2 weeks. That's okay. You are allowed to indulge every now and then. The research shows that 80-20 balance is really what we need. It's actually helping us to stay on track. So indulging every now and then, Friday night, or maybe it's Friday and Saturday, is okay, because that's much more sustainable and it makes us human, because we just can't be restricting ourselves to the point that we hate the process. We need to find a way to actually love this weight loss journey, that we enjoy the process, that we are happy with it. So the mind shift is my next thing. It's actually something that will help you as well when you think about this in a positive way. So, instead of saying, I have to go to the gym again, or I hate this, I hate eating salad so much, just think about it this way. Say, I am really happy. I am so grateful that I can go to the gym, that I can eat this healthy food every day. I'm grateful that I can buy healthy food, because positive thinking, our mind shift, self-talk is really something that can help us a lot. My next tip, and the reason why I'm sitting here next to my friend here, is that at the beginning of your weight loss journey, it can be very difficult to change your habits, and then you're caught thinking about your other foods that you're possibly missing, because your brain is addicted to certain carbohydrates and sugars, and so it takes some time to get that addiction out of our brain. But what helped me a lot is keeping my mind and my hands occupied with something I enjoy. So this drawing here, the charcoal drawing of this horse, is my therapy. I do paint and draw, and that I find very therapeutic. So I would suggest that with big emphasis to find something that'll keep you occupied, your mind, your hands in the systems. So find something that will take you away from thinking about food. That is a great way to stay on your weight loss journey. So sometimes I go out for a walk. I try to just stay away from the kitchen. And also, I try painting, drawing, and that helps me a lot. So that's just something I can suggest. And the good thing is, the longer you are on this weight loss journey, you will really find it easier to get back on track. Your body will get used to it, because I can tell you from my experience, this past weekend I was in New Orleans and it was wonderful. I had a great time, and we tried the most amazing foods that they have. We tried beignets and we tried rice dish jambalaya. We also had fried chicken. It's all wonderful, but my stomach was cramping on Sunday because I'm really not used to that anymore. So you will find it easier after a while being on your weight loss journey. And when you get used to certain foods, you will find it easier to get back on track. So that's a really relief for me, because I am craving healthy foods now. I am also allowing myself to indulge, and I'm not shaming myself. I'm not mad. I'm not angry at myself. On Monday, I didn't go to extreme and said, I am not eating anything today. I will be, just fasting on water. I actually just got back into my routine. I was happy that I tried all those wonderful foods, but I also was happy to get back to my normal eating, and the way that I eat nowadays. And I got back to exercising, and I did not step on the scale because I knew I had gained some weight and I was bloated, and all that would just not help me at all. So I had very nice protein salad for lunch. I had lentil soup for dinner. I had some roasted sweet potatoes and some avocado with that. So it was just wonderful. I enjoyed myself. I did kind of pay the price for all that overindulgence on Sunday because my stomach was cramping. But other than that, it's really important to be good to you yourself, and to say that you are allowed to indulge or even overindulge sometimes. But the longer you stay true to your weight loss journey, you will find it easier. So that's just something to keep in mind. I hope that motivates you. Monday, when I started eating salads again and my hot water with lemon, and just followed with healthy lentil soup, it felt like such a relief, and my stomach really got back to normal after a couple of days. I love making this soup. It is so comforting and wonderful on cold winter days, and just about any time, really. So I'm starting here with some chopped red onions, adding some chopped garlic to it, on some olive oil, adding a chicken cube and some roasted sweet potatoes. I just quartered the sweet potato, added some few cloves of garlic and a few pieces of butternut squash that I had. I roasted that for about 40 minutes in the oven on 400. And I'm adding some water to it. And after that, some salt, pepper, also some vegetable seasoning. I will mash this up a little bit. It's really pretty soft, so you don't really need to mash it up very vigorously. You can just let it cook, and it'll be just fine at the end. So for about 10 minutes like this, I am stirring it and adding some seasonings. Like I said, salt, pepper, vegetable seasoning, and also I'm adding some lentils at the end. So the lentils I'm using are just dry lentils. They are packaged dry lentils that I prefer. I don't like canned ones, just because canned ones can have some added sodium. This way I can control my seasonings. And so I let that cook for about 45 minutes or so. And at the end, it just comes out so wonderful. It's the best soup. I really would love you to try it and let me know what you think. It is wonderful, it's comforting, and it has all the vitamins and minerals and fiber and protein, and it's just a complete meal.